if we try to find why Brazil was drove into this ideology, I'm not talking about the ideology yet, I'm going to talk about this, but now I'm going to talk to you about the reasons why Brazil now has had its democracy destroyed by this lawfare imposed into the left wing and things that I'm going to talk later here. I'm talking as if you knew everything, but let's say what happened now in Brazil is because we found pre-salt, which is a big stock of oil under deep water. Petrobras, which is a Brazilian company for oil extraction, had its reputation brought down by the media. It's incredible, but the Brazilian media and the opposition party, which was PSDB, that was always all the time using the media, using its people, using its money structure to drive Brazil into crisis. And when we think about why they drove Brazil into crisis, if they are here in Brazil, to understand this, we can think about Nigeria. What happened in Nigeria is a situation very similar to what happened in Brazil. In Nigeria, some years ago, they found oil. And once they found oil, the country was developing, the country was going into industrialization. But once they found oil, they just stopped everything and they drove the country into a country that was only to extract oil. So in Nigeria, you don't have a stable electric system. You don't have a way to have industries. The only thing they do there is to take oil and that's it. But something that is similar to Brazil is once they found oil in Nigeria in the past, they found their way to take out the government, because the government who found oil was trying to use that oil to develop Nigeria. And they took out the government, the United States and big companies, big oil companies. They used the same argument which was corruption, like to take out the government, to replace the government, and to put another government in place, a proxy government, a government that was going to drive Nigeria in a way that was going to be okay for big oil companies. And when we think about Brazil today, what happened was when Brazil found oil, strong forces started to try to change the way Brazil was going to use this oil. There are two ways that you can use the oil in your state. Let's think that, okay, we have oil in Brazil, we can use this oil, we can process this oil, and we can have plastic, we can have petrol, we can have anything, we can have everything that you can have from oil into your country. You can benefit its oil, benefit the oil inside your country, or you can just put the oil into a ship and send that oil to receive the benefit outside your country. The difference is when you make the things with oil inside your country, you are going to have more money because you have more aggregate value. If you produce the plastic, if you produce the gas, if you produce everything that you can have from oil inside your country. But if you drive your country just to take out the oil and to send the oil outside to receive the process outside your country, of course, not much money is going to stay in your country. Most of the money is going to stay outside, which is where the oil is going to be processed. And the worst side is, like in Nigeria, they have the oil, they take out the oil and they send the oil outside the country to be processed. Once the oil is processed, it comes back to Nigeria in form of petrol or in form of plastic, but they have the way to do the plastic and the petrol inside Nigeria. Why they don't do that? To make sure that the country never will be developed. To make sure that always that country will only extract the oil. And this is the conflict we had in Brazil once we found oil. We have a party, a political party in Brazil, which is PSDB, which always struggle to send the benefits abroad, to have the industries outside Brazil. This political country, I believe that is supported by the oil companies, were all the time pushing Brazilian government to sell the oil. But Brazilian government that time, which was a party that was supported by its population, a workers' party, was trying to use the oil to benefit its country. So they passed a law that was giving all the money of the oil to education and health. And let's say, okay, what was the law about oil before? Because now it was changed. Before, the law was saying something like, oh, all the money that comes from oil is going to health and education. That's the only way you can benefit all the country, because, of course, health and education is going to promote the development of all the country. But PSDB wanted something different. Instead of sharing the oil with the companies that were going to extract the oil, this includes Petrobras, PSDB wanted just to sell the oil. Just to you understand, the price we sold Brazilian oil was something about 1 cent of dollar per, I think it's barrel, the name in English for that place where they keep the oil, that the size of the oil. But anyway, the point now is, once Brazil found the oil, the media received the money from somewhere that nobody knows to start attacking the government, and they kept attacking the government to destroy the government's reputation. They drove the country into crisis, and at least they sold the oil. So this is one of the things. Of course, you need to look to your country. Does your country have oil? Maybe your country can suffer something near from what we suffered or what Venezuela is suffering. But anyway, I'm going to talk about more things, but the second video is very important to set the ground and to understand everything that has happened in Brazil. You must to understand that everything that has happened strongly because we found oil. Okay, thank you. Subscribe and let's watch more videos. Thank you.